The boardroom at Hartwell Industries smelled like expensive leather and old money. My parents sat at the head of the mahogany table, flanked by their CFO and their business attorney. My older sister Victoria was there too, looking polished in her designer suit. And then there was me, sitting at the far end with my printed proposal in a simple folder. "Thank you all for coming," Dad said, adjusting his reading glasses. "We've called this family meeting to discuss expansion opportunities for Hartwell Industries. As you know, we've been approached by several potential investors interested in our manufacturing division." Mom nodded, her pearl necklace catching the light. "We want to keep this in the family if possible. That's why we invited each of you to present investment proposals." Victoria went first. She had a whole PowerPoint presentation with graphs and market analysis. "I'm proposing a $2 million investment," she announced confidently. "My hedge fund connections have indicated strong interest in backing Hartwell's expansion into the Asian market. We'd restructure the manufacturing division as a separate entity, bring in executive management from my network, and position for acquisition within 3 years." Dad beamed. "Excellent work, Victoria. Very thorough." "That's my girl," Mom added. "Always thinking strategically." The CFO, Robert Chin, made notes on his tablet. "Victoria, what's your expected ROI timeline?" 18 months to profitability, full return within 4 years. Conservative estimates. "Impressive," the attorney said. Then they all looked at me. "Sophie." Dad's tone changed slightly. Less warmth. "You said you wanted to present something?" I opened my folder. "Yes. I'm proposing a $750,000 investment in the manufacturing division. I've analyzed the production costs, identified efficiency improvements, and developed a plan to increase output by 35% without additional headcount." Silence. Victoria laughed first. "$750,000? That's barely enough too." "It's adequate for the improvements I've outlined," I said calmly, sliding copies of my proposal across the table. "The key is optimizing existing infrastructure rather than expanding prematurely." Dad picked up my proposal, flipped through it quickly and set it down. "Sophie, this is nice that you put something together. But this is for serious investors only." "I am serious." "Are you?" Mom's voice had that edge I knew well. "Sweetheart, you work at a nonprofit. You make what, $60,000 a year? Where exactly would you get $750,000? "I have resources." "Resources?" Victoria repeated, smirking. "What resources? Did you win the lottery?" "I've been investing for several years. I have capital available." Dad exchanged a glance with Mom. "Sophie, I appreciate the effort. I really do. But Hartwell Industries is a $17 million operation. We need sophisticated investors who understand complex financial structures. Not," he paused, choosing his words carefully, "not pretend business people playing with proposals they downloaded from the internet." My face stayed neutral. "My proposal is based on." "On what?" Mom interrupted. "On your extensive business experience? Your proven track record in manufacturing? Your network of industry connections?" She softened her tone artificially. "Honey, you're wonderful at what you do. The charity work, the volunteering, helping people. That's your strength. But this." She gestured at my proposal. "This is out of your depth." Robert, the CFO, cleared his throat. "For what it's worth, I did review Sophie's proposal before this meeting. Some of her efficiency recommendations are actually quite—" "Robert," Dad said firmly, "we're not going to waste time on a $750,000 proposal when Victoria is bringing $2 million to the table with professional backing. I'm just saying." "We appreciate your input," Mom cut him off. "But I think we all know which direction makes sense here." Victoria gathered her materials. "So are we moving forward with my proposal? I have people waiting to hear back." Dad nodded. "Let's schedule a follow-up meeting for next week. Robert, can you prepare the paperwork for a $2 million capital injection? We'll structure it as a convertible note with—" "Actually," Robert said quietly, "we should discuss our current capital structure before taking on new investment." "What's to discuss?" Dad asked. "We're in solid shape financially." "We are, but our shareholder structure is somewhat complicated." "How so?" Robert pulled up a spreadsheet on his tablet. "Hartwell Industries has multiple investors across several funding rounds. The majority position, roughly 62% of equity, is held by a single investor through various investment vehicles. I kept my expression blank. What investor? Victoria asked. I thought this was a family business. It is mostly. But over the past 6 years, we've taken on outside capital to fund expansion. Small amounts at first, then larger rounds as we grew. Robert scrolled through his data. The primary investor is an entity called Westbridge Capital Group. They've participated in every funding round since 2019. Started with 200,000, then gradually increased their position. How much are we talking about total? Dad asked. $5.2 million across multiple investments. The room went silent. 5.2 million? Victoria's voice was sharp. Why don't I know about this? Because it happened gradually, Robert explained. No single investment was large enough to trigger special disclosure requirements. But cumulatively, Westbridge Capital now holds the majority position in Hartwell Industries. Dad's face had gone red. Why wasn't I informed about this? Sir. You signed off on every investment round. The paperwork is all in order. But I didn't realize they'd accumulated such a large position. With respect, sir, that's what happens when you accept capital without paying attention to the cap table. Mom leaned forward. Who is Westbridge Capital? What do they want? They're a private investment group. Very hands-off. They've never exercised their board rights, never requested information beyond standard quarterly reports. Honestly, they've been ideal investors, providing capital without interference. Until now, the attorney said grimly. If they hold 62%, they effectively control Hartwell Industries. They could force decisions, remove management, restructure operations. They haven't done any of that, Robert interrupted. Like I said, they've been completely passive. Still, Dad said, his jaw tight, I don't like the idea of some unknown investor controlling my family business. Robert, I want you to look into buying back their position. With what capital, sir? We'll figure it out. Take out loans, mortgage assets. That would destabilize the entire company, Robert said. Sir, Westbridge Capital has been a stabilizing force. Their capital funded your expansion into the Midwest. It paid for the new production facility. It allowed you to weather the supply chain crisis in 2022. Without their investment, Hartwell Industries would be half its current size. Victoria was scrolling through her phone. I can't find anything about Westbridge Capital Group online. No website, no public portfolio, no press releases. They're private, Robert said. Not unusual for family office or high-net-worth investors. Family office, Dad muttered. Probably some trust fund kid playing investor with Daddy's money. I took a sip of water. Mom turned to the attorney. Mark, what are our options here? Mark, the family attorney for 20 years, spread his hands. Legally, not many. If Westbridge Capital wants to exercise their majority rights, they can. But as Robert mentioned, they've shown no indication of wanting to interfere with operations. My advice is to leave sleeping dogs lie. That's not acceptable, Dad said. This is my company. I built it from nothing. Some anonymous investor isn't going to. His phone rang. He glanced at the screen and frowned. It's the main office. I need to take this. He stepped out of the boardroom. Mom filled the silence. Sophie, honey, you're being very quiet. I'm listening. Your proposal was sweet. Really. But you see now why it's not feasible, right? We have much bigger issues to deal with than small-scale efficiency improvements. I understand. Good. Why don't you head out? This is getting into complicated financial territory. No point in you sitting through all the boring details. Before I could respond, Dad burst back into the room, his face white. That was accounting, he said. Westbridge Capital just initiated withdrawal procedures on their entire investment. All $5.2 million. Robert grabbed his tablet. What? That's impossible. The majority of their investment has lock-up periods. Apparently not, Dad said, his voice shaking. According to our head of accounting, Westbridge Capital structured their investments with early withdrawal provisions. They're exercising them now. All of them? Victoria asked. They're pulling all $5.2 million? Every cent. And it gets worse. Dad sank into his chair. The withdrawal triggers certain debt covenants. Our line of credit with First National becomes immediately callable. Our equipment leases have coterminous clauses. If Westbridge pulls out, everything collapses. Mom's hand went to her throat. That can't be right. It is right, Robert said, his face grim as he scrolled through documents. Jesus, I didn't realize how interconnected everything was. Westbridge Capital's investment was used as collateral for multiple financing arrangements. If they withdraw. He trailed off. Say it, Dad demanded. Hartwell Industries would be insolvent within 90 days. We'd have to liquidate assets, lay off staff, probably file for Chapter 11. The room erupted. Victoria started firing questions. Mom grabbed Dad's arm. The attorney was frantically typing on his laptop. I sat quietly, my hands folded on the table. This is insane, Victoria was saying. Investors don't just pull out without warning. There must be a reason. Did we breach some agreement? Miss a reporting requirement? Not that I'm aware of, Robert said. We've been completely compliant with all investor requirements. Then why? Mom's voice was rising toward panic. Why would they do this? Dad's phone rang again. He looked at the screen. It's Westbridge Capital. Everyone froze. Answer it. Victoria hissed. Dad put the phone on speaker. This is Richard Hartwell. Mr. Hartwell, this is Jessica Morrison from Westbridge Capital Group. The voice was professional, crisp. I'm calling to inform you officially that Westbridge Capital is exercising its withdrawal rights effective immediately. Yes, we've been informed, Dad said, his voice strained. Ms. Morrison, can you tell me why? Has Hartwell Industries done something too? This is purely a portfolio reallocation decision, Mr. Hartwell. Westbridge Capital is adjusting its investment strategy, and Hartwell Industries no longer fits our target profile. Ms. Morrison, please. This withdrawal will destroy our company. We have hundreds of employees, long-standing customer relationships, community obligations. I understand, and Westbridge Capital appreciates the partnership we've had with Hartwell Industries. However, our decision is final. Can we negotiate? A gradual withdrawal? A buyout structure that doesn't trigger the debt covenants? I'm sorry, Mr. Hartwell. The withdrawal terms were agreed upon when the investments were made. We're simply exercising our contractual rights. Who makes these decisions? Victoria interjected. Who's the principal at Westbridge Capital? Let us speak with them directly. Westbridge Capital is a private investment group. We don't disclose our ownership structure. This is ridiculous. Victoria's voice was sharp. You can't hide behind corporate veils. Someone owns this company. Someone made the decision to destroy Hartwell Industries. We have a right to know who. There was a pause on the line. Then, one moment please. The hold music was classical. Vivaldi, I thought. The Four Seasons. Mom was crying now, quiet tears running down her face. Dad stared at the phone like it was a bomb. Victoria paced like a caged animal. Robert caught my eye. He'd been the CFO for 10 years. He was smart, observant. He was starting to suspect. The music stopped. A new voice came on the line. A voice everyone in the room recognized. Hello, Dad. The silence was absolute. Dad's face went through several expressions. Confusion, disbelief, recognition, shock. Sophie. His voice was barely a whisper. Yes. You're Westbridge Capital? I own it, yes. Along with several other investment vehicles. Mom made a sound like she'd been punched. Victoria grabbed the edge of the table. That's not possible, Dad said. Westbridge has $5.2 million invested in Hartwell Industries. You work at a nonprofit. You make $60,000 a year. I make $60,000 a year at the nonprofit, I corrected. That's not my only source of income. Then what? Where did you get $5 million? I started with the trust fund Grandma Helen left me. You remember? The one you said I should be careful with, because it was only $300,000 and I needed to make it last. Dad nodded slowly, looking dazed. I invested it. Made some good bets on tech startups in 2017 and 2018. Turned $300,000 into about $2 million by 2019. Then I invested in cryptocurrency before the boom. By 2020 I had $7 million. By 2022 I had $15 million. Today I manage about $32 million in assets across various investments. Victoria sat down hard. $32 million. Give or take. But you live in that tiny apartment, Mom said weakly. You drive a 10-year-old Honda. You shop at Target. Yes. Why? Because I don't need to impress anyone. I like my apartment. My car works fine. Target has good prices. Robert was smiling now, actually smiling. The efficiency recommendations in your proposal. The production optimization. You weren't guessing. No. I've been reviewing Hartwell's quarterly reports for 6 years. I know every aspect of your operation. I could probably run the manufacturing floor myself at this point. So when you proposed $750,000, Robert trailed off. That's what the company actually needs. Victoria's $2 million expansion plan would have overextended Hartwell exactly the way my analysis predicted. You'd have been in debt within 18 months, forced to sell assets within 2 years. Dad found his voice. You've been investing in my company for 6 years. 6 years. And you never said anything. You never asked. You took the capital, signed the paperwork, and forgot about it. You were happy to accept money from an anonymous investor. But when your daughter offered $750,000, you called her a pretend business person. The words landed like slaps. Sophie, Mom said, her voice pleading, if you're really Westbridge Capital, if you really have all this money, why are you withdrawing? Why are you destroying the family business? I'm not destroying anything. I'm withdrawing my capital from an investment that no longer meets my portfolio requirements. That's corporate speak, Victoria snapped. What's the real reason? I looked at each of them. The real reason is that about an hour ago, this family made it clear that I'm not a serious investor. That my proposals aren't worth consideration. That I should stick to charity work and leave business to the professionals. We didn't mean, Dad started. You meant exactly that. You've meant it for years. Every time I've tried to discuss business, you've dismissed me. Every time I've offered advice, you've ignored it. Every time I've shown interest in Hartwell Industries, you've patted me on the head and sent me away. That's not fair, Mom protested. Isn't it? 6 years ago, when you needed capital for the Midwest expansion, I offered to invest. You laughed and said I should focus on finding a husband instead of playing business. So I invested anonymously through Westbridge Capital. You took my money then. Sophie. 4 years ago, when the supply chain crisis hit, I offered to help. You told me to let the adults handle it. So I invested another $1 million through Westbridge to keep you afloat. You took my money then too. You're taking this personally, Victoria said. This is business. We were evaluating investment proposals objectively. No, you weren't. You evaluated my proposal for about 30 seconds before dismissing it. You didn't read the analysis. You didn't review the numbers. You just saw that it came from me and decided it wasn't worth your time. Robert spoke up quietly. For what it's worth, Sophie's proposal was excellent. Better than Victoria's, actually. More realistic, more sustainable, better ROI potential. Robert, Dad said warningly. I'm just stating facts, sir. Victoria's $2 million plan was impressive but overambitious. Sophie's $750 proposal would have actually worked. Victoria glared at him. You're taking her side? I'm not taking sides. I'm doing my job as CFO. Robert looked at me. Sophie, if Hartwell Industries accepted your proposal instead, if we acknowledged it properly, would you reconsider the withdrawal? I thought about it. No. Why not? Because this isn't about the proposal. It's about respect. Or the lack of it. I stood up, gathering my materials. I've spent 6 years quietly supporting this company. I've provided capital when you needed it, stayed silent when you made mistakes, watched from the sidelines while you celebrated yourselves. And today, when I finally tried to participate openly, you humiliated me. We didn't humiliate you, Mom said. You told me I wasn't a serious investor. You said I was a pretend business person. You literally asked me to leave the room so you could discuss complicated financial matters without me. I paused at the door. Well, now you'll have to discuss them without my $5.2 million too. Sophie, wait. Dad stood up. Please. Let's talk about this rationally. You're angry, I understand that. But don't destroy your family's business over hurt feelings. I'm not destroying your business over hurt feelings, Dad. I'm making a sound financial decision. Hartwell Industries has become overextended, poorly managed, and headed for trouble. Victoria's expansion plan would have accelerated the decline. As a responsible investor, I'm withdrawing my capital before the situation worsens. Poorly managed? Dad's face went red. I've grown this company from a garage startup to a $17 million operation. You did. 20 years ago. But for the last 5 years, You've been coasting on past success while making increasingly risky decisions. The Midwest expansion was overpriced. The supply chain contracts were poorly negotiated. The Asian market timing is terrible. Victoria's hedge fund friends are giving her bad advice. Victoria stood up. You don't know what you're talking about. I know exactly what I'm talking about. I've been analyzing this company for 6 years. I've read every report, studied every decision, tracked every metric. I probably know Hartwell Industries better than any of you at this point. Then help us. Mom's voice cracked. If you know so much, if you care so much, help us fix the problems instead of abandoning us. I tried to help. You rejected my help. You called me a pretend business person. I'm sorry. Mom was crying harder now. I'm sorry, okay? I didn't know. We didn't know. We were wrong about you. Please, Sophie. Please don't do this. I looked at her tears, heard the desperation in her voice. 3 months ago that would have broken me. I would have backed down, apologized, tried to make peace. Not anymore. Jessica Morrison from Westbridge Capital will coordinate the withdrawal details with Robert. The process should be complete within 30 days. Dad, Mom, Victoria. Good luck with the business. I hope you find investors who meet your standards. I walked out. Behind me I heard Dad shouting. Victoria demanding I come back. Mom sobbing. I kept walking. My phone started ringing before I even reached my car. I ignored it. By the time I got home I had 17 missed calls. 9 from Dad, 5 from Mom, 3 from Victoria. I blocked them all temporarily. Jessica Morrison, who wasn't just my spokesperson but also my chief investment officer, called an hour later. Well, she said, that was dramatic. How bad is it? Hartwell Industries is in crisis mode. Their attorney has called 3 times asking about the withdrawal timeline. Their CFO wants to discuss alternative structures. Your father left a message that was basically incoherent, shouting. What about the withdrawal itself? Proceeding on schedule. The paperwork is ironclad. We made sure of that when we structured the investments. They can't block it, delay it, or negotiate around it. 30 days from now, all $5.2 million will be out of Hartwell Industries. And then, based on their current financials, they'll have about 60 days before the debt covenants trigger. They'll scramble for emergency funding, probably get rejected by every serious investor. Eventually, they'll have to either sell assets or file for bankruptcy protection. I felt a twist in my stomach. How many people will lose jobs? If they liquidate all 73 employees, if they manage a restructuring bankruptcy, maybe half. I closed my eyes. Sophie, Jessica said gently, it's not too late to change your mind. We can restructure the withdrawal, give them breathing room. No. You're sure? I'm sure. I wasn't, but I said it anyway. This isn't just about today. It's about years of dismissal. Of being treated like I'm stupid. Of being excluded from the family business while they happily took my money. I understand. But you should know, Robertson called me directly. He wanted me to tell you that he's known for months. I sat up. Known what? That you were Westbridge Capital. He figured it out about 6 months ago. The investment patterns, the timing, the focus on long-term stability over quick returns. He said it was obvious once he really looked at it. Why didn't he say anything? He said he was waiting to see what you'd do. He respected that you had reasons for staying anonymous. Jessica paused. He also said he's impressed as hell, and if Westbridge Capital ever needs a CFO, he'd love to be considered. Despite everything, I smiled slightly. There's something else, Jessica continued. Your sister Victoria called. She didn't rant or threaten. She asked, politely, if you'd be willing to meet with her. Just the 2 of you. No. Sophie. No, Jessica. I'm done being the family doormat. I'm done making myself small so they can feel big. I'm done pretending I don't know things so they can pretend they're the experts. Okay. Her voice was soft. I'll handle the logistics. You take care of yourself. After she hung up, I sat in my small apartment, the one my parents thought was sad, and looked around. I'd chosen this place deliberately. 1 bedroom, minimal furniture, nothing fancy. I could have bought a penthouse. I could have moved to a mansion. But I liked it here. It was quiet. It was mine. It was real. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Robert Chin, I know you blocked your family. I respect that. But I wanted to tell you something. I reviewed Victoria's proposal more carefully after you left. It's worse than I thought. If Hartwell had accepted it, the company would have been insolvent within 24 months. Your proposal was the only sound option on the table. Your family are idiots. You're brilliant. Sold. I stared at the message for a long moment, then typed back. Thank you. His response was immediate. Seriously, if you need a CFO, call me. I'll keep that in mind. The news broke 3 days later. Local manufacturing company faces financial crisis. Read the headline in the Seattle Business Journal. The article detailed Hartwell Industries' sudden loss of its primary investor and the resulting financial instability. By day 5, Dad had tried to reach me 18 more times. Mom had left tearful voicemails begging me to reconsider. Victoria had sent a long email explaining why I was being childish and vindictive. I responded to none of them. Jessica called with updates. First National Bank called their line of credit. Hartwell Industries has 30 days to repay $2.3 million or face asset seizure. Can they repay it? Not without emergency funding. And no one's interested in funding a company that just lost its majority investor under mysterious circumstances. What about Victoria's hedge fund connections? They pulled out. Apparently, they did more due diligence and discovered the same problems you identified. Overextended operations, poor margins, risky expansion plans. So what's Dad doing? Trying to mortgage personal assets. The house, his investment portfolio, everything. But it won't be enough. I felt that twist in my stomach again. And the employees? Layoffs started yesterday. 20 people so far. More coming. I hung up and stared at the ceiling of my small apartment. This was what I wanted, right? For them to understand. For them to see what they'd dismissed. For them to realize. My phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Hello. Ms. Hartwell. This is Janet Rodriguez. I worked at Hartwell Industries. In production. I sat up. Ms. Rodriguez, I'm sorry, I don't know how you got this number. Robert Chin gave it to me. I know I shouldn't be calling. But I wanted you to know something. Her voice was steady but strained. I've worked at Hartwell for 12 years. It's been a good job. Good benefits, decent pay, supportive management. I have 3 kids. My husband is disabled. This job is our whole income. I closed my eyes. Robert told me what happened. He told me you're the investor who pulled out. He told me why. She paused. I don't know you. I don't know your family. But I know what it's like when people don't see you. When they treat you like you don't matter. Ms. Rodriguez. I'm not calling to beg. I just wanted you to know that whatever happens to Hartwell Industries, it's not your fault. Your parents should have treated you better. Your sister should have respected you. Robert says you tried to help and they refused. That's on them, not you. Tears were running down my face. How many people are losing their jobs? 20 so far. Probably another 30 by the end of the month. The rest when the company closes. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. Just, I don't know. Just be successful. Be brilliant. Show them what they missed. That's the best revenge, right? After she hung up, I sat there for a long time. Then I called Jessica. I need you to do something, I said. Name it. I want you to contact every employee who's being laid off from Hartwell Industries. Tell them Westbridge Capital is hiring for a new manufacturing operation. Same pay, same benefits, same positions. We'll cover relocation if necessary. Jessica was quiet for a moment. Sophie, that's going to cost. I know what it's going to cost. Do it anyway. You're starting a whole new company just to save Hartwell's employees? I'm starting a whole new company because there's a talented workforce about to hit the market, and I'd be an idiot not to hire them. Also because Robert Chin is apparently available as a CFO. Jessica laughed. You're really doing this? Yes. And Jessica? I want to do it right. Sustainable growth, healthy margins, long-term stability. Everything Hartwell Industries should have been. What about your parents? Your sister? What about them? They'll see this. They'll know you're poaching their employees, starting a competing operation. Good. Let them see. Let them know. I paused. They wanted serious investors and real business people. They're about to find out what that actually looks like. 6 weeks later, I stood in a renovated warehouse in South Seattle. Former Hartwell Industries employees were setting up equipment, organizing production lines, establishing workflows. Robert Chin walked over with a tablet. We've got 53 of the 73 Hartwell employees on board. The rest either found other positions or relocated out of state. But 53 is enough to start operations. What are we calling the company? I thought you'd want to decide that. I looked around the warehouse. These were good people. Talented people. People who deserved better than to be collateral damage in a family war. Westbridge Manufacturing, I said. Simple. Clear. I like it. Robert smiled. Your parents are going to lose their minds. They already have. It was true. Hartwell Industries had filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy 3 weeks ago. Dad had mortgaged everything trying to save it, but it wasn't enough. The company was being liquidated. The assets would be sold. The legacy would end. Have they tried to contact you? Robert asked. Constantly. I'm still blocking them. Maybe you should talk to them. Not to reconcile, just to, I don't know, get closure. I considered it. Maybe eventually. Not yet. My phone buzzed. Jessica Morrison. What's up? You have a visitor at the main office. Says it's urgent. Who? Victoria Hartwell. I glanced at Robert. He shrugged. Might as well face her sooner than later. 20 minutes later, I walked into Westbridge Capital's office. A modest suite in a downtown building, nothing flashy, and found Victoria sitting in the reception area. She looked terrible. Exhausted, rumpled, like she hadn't slept in days. Sophie. Victoria. Can we talk? I nodded toward my office. Jessica gave me a questioning look and I nodded that it was okay. Victoria sat across from my desk, looking around at the sparse furnishings. This is your office? Yes. It's so plain. I like plain. She laughed, but it was a broken sound. Of course you do. God, we really didn't know you at all, did we? I didn't answer. Hartwell Industries is gone, she said. It'll be officially dissolved within the month. Dad lost the house. Mom's moved in with her sister. I'm back in my apartment trying to figure out how to salvage my career after my brilliant expansion plan contributed to the family business imploding. I'm sorry that happened. Are you? Yes. I never wanted Dad to lose everything. I just wanted him to see me. Victoria was quiet for a long moment. He sees you now. We all do. She looked at me directly. You were right about everything. My expansion plan was terrible. Your efficiency proposal would have saved the company. And you're not a pretend business person. You're better at this than any of us ever were. Thank you. That's it? Just thank you. What do you want me to say, Victoria? I don't know. Maybe that you forgive us? That you'll help rebuild? That family matters more than business. Her voice cracked. Something. I leaned back in my chair. I forgive you for underestimating me. I don't forgive you for being cruel about it. And I won't help rebuild Hartwell Industries because there's nothing left to rebuild. As for family mattering more than business, you're the one who treated me like I didn't matter. You're the one who made business more important than family. I know. God, Sophie, I know. I was terrible to you. We all were. She wiped her eyes. Is there any way to make this right? Between us? Maybe eventually. But not today. She nodded slowly. Hey, I can accept that. She stood to leave, then paused. For what it's worth, I heard you hired most of the Hartwell employees. That you're starting your own manufacturing operation. That's good of you. Those people didn't deserve to suffer because of our family drama. No, they didn't. Sophie, one more thing. Dad wanted me to ask you, he's too proud to do it himself. But he wanted me to ask if there's any chance you'd consider. Consider what? Buying Hartwell's remaining assets. The brand name, the equipment, the client relationships. The bankruptcy court is auctioning everything off. Dad thought maybe if you bought it, kept the Hartwell name alive somehow, it would mean the legacy wasn't completely destroyed. I thought about it. How much are the assets valued at? About $1.3 million for everything. I'll think about it. Really. Not for Dad. Not for the family legacy. But because some of those assets, the equipment especially, would be useful for Westbridge Manufacturing. Tell the bankruptcy court I'll submit a bid. Victoria's face showed something like hope. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. I'm bidding because it makes business sense. Not because of sentiment. I know. But still. She headed for the door, then looked back. You're going to be incredibly successful, aren't you? I already am. No, I mean famous. Powerful. The kind of person people write about in business magazines. I smiled slightly. Maybe. If I want to be. Do you? I haven't decided yet. Right now I'm just focused on building something good. Something sustainable. Something that treats people with respect. That's a dig at Hartwell Industries. If the shoe fits. After she left, Jessica came in. How did it go? As well as could be expected. She apologized. I didn't forgive her. We both acknowledged reality. Are you really going to bid on Hartwell's assets? Yes. The equipment is worth it, and having access to their client list could accelerate Westbridge Manufacturing's growth by 18 months. Always the investor. Jessica smiled. You know, your family spent years calling you uncommercial, too soft for business, not cutthroat enough. Turns out you're the most ruthless one of all. I'm not ruthless. I'm just clear-eyed about what matters. And what matters? I looked out my office window at the Seattle skyline. Building something real. Treating people well. Succeeding on my own terms. I paused. And proving that everyone who underestimated me was wrong. Mission accomplished on that last one. Not yet, I said. But soon. The Forbes article came out on a Wednesday. The 30 under 30 investor you've never heard of. Sophie Hartwell built a $38 million portfolio in secret. The piece detailed my investment history, my anonymous involvement in Hartwell Industries, and the launch of Westbridge Manufacturing. It included quotes from Robert Chin, testimonials from employees, and analysis from financial experts who called my approach innovative and sustainable. There was a photo of me in my modest office, wearing the same clothes I'd worn to Target the weekend before. Mom called. I answered this time. Sophie, I saw the article. I know. Everyone's seen it. You look beautiful in the photo. Mom. I'm so proud of you. Your father is too, even if he won't say it. What you've built, what you've accomplished. It's extraordinary. Thank you. Sophie, I need to say something. I'm sorry. Truly, deeply sorry for how I treated you. For dismissing your intelligence, your capabilities, your worth. I was wrong. Completely wrong. I looked out at the warehouse floor where production was humming along smoothly. I appreciate that. Is there any chance we could have dinner? You and me? I'd like to try to rebuild our relationship. Maybe. But Mom, I need you to understand something. I'm not the same person I was a year ago. I'm not going to shrink myself to make you comfortable anymore. I'm not going to pretend I don't know things or hide my success to spare anyone's feelings. I understand. And I don't want you to. I want to know the real Sophie. The brilliant investor, the successful businesswoman, the person who built all this. She paused. The daughter I should have seen all along. Hey, we can have dinner. Thank you. Sophie, there's one more thing. What? Your father. He's struggling. Financially, yes, but also emotionally. He feels like a failure. Like he destroyed his legacy and lost his daughter. He's too proud to reach out, but he needs to hear from you. I'll think about it. After hanging up, I found Robert reviewing production schedules. Family drama? He asked. Always. Mom wants dinner. Dad's in crisis. Victoria's presumably off somewhere trying to rebuild her reputation. Are you going to help them? Help them how? I don't know. Invest in a new business venture? Provide bridge funding? You could solve their financial problems easily. I considered it. No. No. They need to solve their own problems. They spent years treating me like I couldn't handle real business. Like I needed to be protected from complicated financial matters. Let them figure it out themselves. Harsh. Realistic, I corrected. I'll maintain relationships with them if they're willing to see me as I actually am. But I'm not going to rescue them. That's not my job. Robert smiled. You really are ruthless. I prefer clear-eyed about boundaries. Fair enough. He handed me a tablet. Speaking of which, we got the bid results back from the Hartwell bankruptcy auction. And Westbridge Manufacturing acquired all equipment and client relationships for $1.1 million. We were the only bidder willing to take on the whole package. What about the Hartwell name? That went separately. Some investment group bought it for $50,000. Probably planning to license it or sell it to someone nostalgic about the brand. Interesting. Did you find out which investment group? Some outfit called Oak Ridge Holdings. Never heard of them. I smiled slightly. I have. You know them. I own them. It's one of my smaller investment vehicles. Robert stared at me. You bought your family's company name. I bought the intellectual property rights to a defunct brand that might have value someday. It's just business. Sophie, that's cold even for you. Is it? Or is it smart asset acquisition? He shook his head, laughing. I can't tell if you're the hero or the villain of this story. Maybe both. Or maybe neither. Maybe I'm just someone who got tired of being underestimated and decided to show everyone what they missed. Mission accomplished. I looked around at Westbridge Manufacturing, the company I'd built from scratch in 6 months, the operation that was already profitable and growing, the workplace where employees were respected and valued. My phone buzzed with a notification. Another interview request, this one from the Wall Street Journal. Jessica wants to know if you're interested in the Wall Street Journal piece, Robert said, reading his own phone. Tell her yes. But I want to talk about sustainable business practices and employee-focused growth. Not family drama. The family drama is what people want to hear about. Then they'll be disappointed. I'm done performing for other people's entertainment. Fair enough. Robert looked at me thoughtfully. Can I ask you something? Sure. Do you miss them? Your family? I thought about it. Carefully. Honestly. I miss who I thought they were. I miss the version of my family that existed in my head. The one that valued me, respected me, wanted me around. I paused. But that family never really existed. So no, I don't miss the reality of them. Not yet. Maybe not ever. That's sad. Maybe. Or maybe it's just honest. We stood there for a moment, watching the production floor operate smoothly, efficiently, exactly according to my designs. Then my phone buzzed again. Dad, this time. A text message. Dad, saw the Forbes article. You were right about everything. I'm sorry I didn't listen. I'm sorry I didn't see you. Congratulations on your success. You earned it. Love it. I read it twice, then showed it to Robert. Are you going to respond? He asked. Eventually. Not today. Why not? Because today I'm busy running my company, building my empire, succeeding on my own terms. I smiled. The family drama can wait. Robert laughed. You know what? You're going to be just fine. I know. And I was.